Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. You saw the first discussion segment talking about the petroleum industry bill containing issues, the views entirely theirs, and of course, the views also portray the heart of so many Nigerians. All right, so let's just see what will come out of it. Let's come back home to Edo State. For some months now, this present administration is already in its second, tenure, and expectations are high from the ruling party, from the government of the day, from the governor. People are like saying that it's high time you created the governing council, the neck of the state. Some are saying it's taking too long. But last week, we get to see the governor trying to really get the best hands to work with him. You know, talking about SSAs, talking about commissioners, because the load themselves will be too much for 2 or 3 persons or even 4 persons. You need a team to work with. How do you think the selection process will be done? How do you think the choosing process will be done? Is it going to be politically inclined? Is it going to be what you can do? And the opposition, what should be their contribution in all of this? Should it be shut out completely for them to work effectively? After all, politicking is over. It's now time for governance. Quoting the #1 man, in the state. Well, I still have my guests with me here in the studio, and they are going to speak at length on this particular discourse. And the first discussion segment, they agreed to the PIB. Both of them were saying the same thing, that look, something should be done about that. Do you think they're going to agree in this discussion segment, talking about formation of Edo State Executive Council? The process of recruitment. That is what we want to take a look at. I still have Engineer Akemohue, Lookman, and of course Don Ben Doega. Some say better late than never. Some are saying it's taking way too long. What is really going on? All litigations right now we put to rest. So what is really happening? Well, Lookman, you are there. And of course, we have other Edo citizens also there watching, trying to really get the best of the best to form the Edo State Executive Council. Why now?
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. I think I have actually made a lot of input on this matter and clarifications. Like I said earlier in my outing here, I think we have elected the governor. We entrusted him with our mandate. And he knows that he has only 4 years. He knows that he made promises. And he kept saying this, that if we don't fulfill the promises we made, these promises are in videos. In 2023-24, what are we going to tell the people? If a man have this depth of reasoning and consciousness, I think we that gave him a 4-year tenure should be a little bit patient, because we are not going to judge the governor on the basis of how fast or late he formed his cabinet. We are going to judge him on the basis of how well did he implement his programs and fulfill his promises. Don't forget, I was one of the foremost people who were campaigning for him under the platform of the Harmless Rabbits. And most of his policy ideas were adequately communicated on my platform. And I owe the public a duty of care to ensure that these promises that the governor made and we propagated in our platforms, that he delivers on them. Otherwise, our platforms will be useless in the next election. So we know that. That is why we did not just elect the governor and left him. We set our Snoopy rabbits around the government to understand in details what the governor is doing. And we have come up with some revelations and observations which are clear that the man is working on on a matrix of two components. One, let the people own my government. Two, I must put square pegs in square holes. And I must put square pegs in square holes. People think that these holes are already square. No. You even create, whether it is he has tried to create the square pegs, the square holes, by, if I am bringing a square peg, I must create a square hole. And that has to do with the issue of civil service reforms. He has spent a good amount of this time to clean up the civil service, both in physical and in intellectual. A civil service academy called John Oyegu Training Center is there for continuous training. The environment is serene, beautiful, and habitable and attractive for work. So that is the square hole. Now he's trying to bring in the square pegs. It means that those people must fit into the new paradigm of the status and outlook of the new civil service he has just reformed. Then the other component of let the people own the government is also there. In trying to make the people own the government is not a reason why the people should bring unqualified people, and he gave his criteria. The reason for making people own the government is for reason of popular participation and perception management, which must be right if you want to deliver. You can be doing the best for the people, but when the perception is wrong, you will not be able to carry through your programs. So what he has done, he has spent his time doing, is to create a matrix whose resolution is for the best of Edo people.
Okay.
So I would like to say that Edo people, calm down, learn how to be calming down. You have the right team in the office. And I can tell you, before this man leaves in 2024, the same people who are saying it is getting too long will be the people that will applaud him, and that is what is important.
Okay. Don, do you share his views and opinions?
Well, I have some contrary views to his opinions.
Okay.
As the #1 citizen and a chief executive officer of a state, you can even create your cabinet in less than 1 month of your administration. But the Edo State issue has to do with a lot of litigations. That is my own point of view. From the court process, the lower court, the appeal court, then the Supreme Court, and the rest of it all. And a man that is being dambled here and there is the cabinet that he will focusing on. It's how to scale through the hurdles, the traps that have been set behind him. That should be his main focus. And thank God he has been able to skip and he has gone through those traps. And since he has settled down, I think he should do the needful. One thing about political party, because when you switch from a political party to the other one, it will take you some time to also understand the new party that you are now flagging on. Because those are the challenges I know that the governor has really faced. Because he was not given a soft land in his previous party, EPC, Progressive Congress, then later it come to PDP. So the party itself has to be balanced. The in-house fighting has to be cleaned up before you can have a balanced executive council. Because when you don't have an in-house cleanup, somebody will say, I need a commissioner from so and so local government, I need this, I'm now fronting for my own. So when there are a lot of challenges from the local government chairman, you see two local government chairmen say, I'm the local government chairman of so and so local government, Because by right, you are the one that's supposed to bring in your representative to the executive council. So if those things are not settled, who are you going to bring to work with the governor? So the governor will have more problem when you bring in somebody that is coming from a crisis background. It's not possible for that person to perform well. And you don't bring person that you now, there is a parable that when you are being bitten by a snake, if you see a millipede, you will use a very big sledgehammer to hit it. I think that is the case of the governor now. So he's looking with an eagle eye so that we will not have to recruit people that will stab him behind.
And are you saying that is dragging the process?
Yes, that is dragging the process, because one thing about governance is that you don't put in people that will at the end of the day give you problem. You have to put in a cabinet that at the end of the day you have what is called the same thinking, the same ideology, and your template must be followed to the letter.
Don't you think that what he's doing right now? Because
that is what is I say those are the litigation that caused the delay of him putting the executive council in place. But I'm saying that he should do it so that, because he has won in the Supreme Court, I think when somebody has gone through the Supreme Court process, I think the orders also lies on him. But he should also consult the party faithful, because for recently now, it's already said that the party chairman, as the name was, his suspended was lifted. Those are internal crises. And when they are having internal crisis in a party that have brought you into limelight, you as a number one citizen have to be very careful too, so that you will not make mistake or step on toes that will give you more crisis. I think those are the things that cause this whole thing. But just by what he already said, but I know that the governor is somebody that, if not because of this hiccup that have been dragging him up and down for dragging the whole process, this executive council would have been long, constituted in Edo State. Right. So I'm hoping that, this time stand, probably this month of July, so that it will now look as if he's now trying to put in the executive council in place like that of NDDC also, so that it will now tally with the NDDC process. So that is my advice for the government.
All right, now you talked about the round peg in round holes, and of course square pegs in square holes. How do you think Mr. Governor will get it right in this regard, knowing fully that what he said is true? Crises here and there. Those will resolve partially, but you still have some disgruntled elements in the party.
I will tell you, I disagree with some of his points. Yeah. I can tell you categorically that I'm an insider. I'm not part of the government, but because we took the responsibility of sticking out our neck for this government to be put in place at serious risk to our lives, we feel that, and we feel that we own the public, like I said, the duty of care, to be able to put the government on the toes. And to put the government on the toes, you have to be very constructive. And to be constructive, you have to have information of how the government works. So the position my platform is now, I am not going to be part of a process where you lie to the public or you misinform the public. That is why, if you look at the bullets as they come up often, when people try to misinform the public, we come and clear the air. And we clear the air with the facts. Now, I have just told you the reason. Any process that is good to birth a desirable outcome, most often, time is the parameter.
But someone is saying this is not pregnancy.
No, I know. Let me tell you.
9 months now.
Let me tell you. I've just told you.
Yeah.
When you understand that the template, the key performance indicators that will be used to judge this government is not the time for constituting, it took to constitute the executive board, the deliverables. What have you delivered? How well have you fulfilled your promise? That should be our paramount importance. But let me tell you, the process is on. For instance, when he kickstarted the process, assuming the governor, he has the powers, he's there in the constitution. He does not need to consult anybody. He knows what to do. The only constitutional provision is that at least there must be one commissioner in the local government. That's the only constitutional provision. But whoever he picks from the local government, he was not told to consult the people. It's just out of, let us have a participatory democracy. Let it go down to the grassroots, where in local government, wards, at what level we throw up names. and you are sending these names for screening.
But right now, the local government has been dissolved. How is it going to do that?
No, it's not the government. It's the party.
Because they're saying that
it's not the government.
Has elapsed. So we don't have a chairman now.
No, it's not the government. Yeah. It's not the local government. It is the people in the local government, the party.
The party.
That's have betrayed ward chairman, LGA chairman, the stakeholders, leaders. Let us come together.
But no, we don't have an LGA chairman. Not even one.
That is another board you are doing. That's a tie of government, which is very independent of the state government. We have 3 ties: federal, state and local. So that is that. Now we are talking about constitution of executive council. It has nothing to do with that tie of government. It has to consult the grassroots. That's what it's doing. Now it sets the process in place. Names have been thrown up, 5 names per local government, and he has put a screening committee headed by Professor Dennis Agbolaho. With credible people in the team, 15 of them, to look into the credentials that were submitted, whether their petitions were written, and basically go through the process of picking out the best among the people that have been submitted. And people, we are watching. We just have one platform. We have a lot of platforms. All CVs that were collected across the state, our Snoopy Rabbit got us copies. So on our own, we are doing analysis to see what criteria did the governor use to choose each person from each local government. Are you understanding? Now, if he is not a perfect man, but I can tell you categorically, to the best of my knowledge of how the governor thinks and works, I can tell you that the people that he will finally put out as members of his cabinet will be a true reflection of these 2 parameters of the matrix.
All right.
Owned by the people and the best among the nominated.
I will come back to you. Now, he talked about 2 metrics he talked about. He talked about people that are owned by the people and, of course, picking out the best. Do you see politicking in this? Do you see lobbying in this? Do you see favoritism overshadowing the process?
Well, in governance, lobbying is part of the game. And your scorecard is also another game. When elections take place, what are your scorecards in your area? What was your input? How did you perform to make me become the governor of the state? Those are the criteria that they use in bringing up those commissionerships. And so that is why I said there are a lot of litigation before now. And I've said it before that there's no governor in his right sense of thinking that is going through the hurdles of court process that we're talking about cabinet.
But that has been rested.
Yes,
so that's like in the past.
So that is why I said it takes this whole long time for this team to delay up to this moment. Because the first tenure, it wasn't like this. It's supposed to be a scale through. After the first tenure, in
the first tenure, there was a godfather.
Yes.
All right. Now you're saying that the criteria, number 1 criteria is the power to deliver what you did for me during the election. Is that the major
bone of contention? Yes, those are
one of it.
It's one of it.
One of it is not the main one.
No,
because you have the primary, secondary, tertiary.
The main one.
Did you deliver? Is that
the main one is the content of your CV, your qualification, your capacity
you just
to
hold on.
deliver to the people.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about formation of EDO State Executive Council, the recruitment process. That is what we are talking about. I have Engineer Lukman and, of course, Chief Don Ben with me here in the studio. They are talking about the process, you know, what they feel about it. Now, before we went on that break, you're talking about CV, right? But some are saying that the performance for the party during the election supersedes the power of the CV. Put that into consideration. Do you think that CV will matter in this recruitment?
Yes, I can tell you from the body language of the governor and the processes he has put in place already. You see, people should learn to read the perception, the way a chief executive works. It's not every time he will talk to you. Carrying someone who is not a politician, a former vice chancellor, a professor of international repute, to head a screening, should send a message. Otherwise, why did it take the state chairman of the party or some politician who does not care about how the people are recruited? Look at the quality of people in it. Yes, there are politicians among them, but heading the organization, the person who is going to sign the screened list, who is going to award marks based on certain criteria, is a professor. And what do you know professors do? The whole of their life is all about qualifications. Qualifications. So I think they will scan through the CVs. Petitions are written. They will liaise with the organizations where the petitions are directed to. Some of these CVs and petitions are going to be forwarded to DSS, right? And a thorough job will be done because the governor does not want to make mistakes. Now, it is my opinion that the quality of CV and certifications sometimes tell, most often, because work experience is there, your paper qualifications are there, we tell the character of the person. And the other thing the governor does is that, for instance, if you recommend out of the 5, because the CVs we have collected in, across the 18 local government, because that's what we did. We saw that in Edo South, local government were submitting 6 CVs for commissioner, but in Edo North and others, it's 5. Yeah. Perhaps because of the size of the local government, like already do Kobaoka and Co. Now, he has thrown the net. Now, a proper committee is in place to scan through. Perhaps, maybe the Agbola House reports to him, we said, oh, out of these 6, Your Excellency, I think we found these 3 worthy. We found these 2 worthy. These are their marks. Take. But the discretion is still left for the governor. For instance, if they send 3, say, okay, governor, we have seen that 3 are qualified to be in your cabinet. Do you know what the governor does? He will still invite these 3 one-on-one to interview them. What does that tell you? He needs a clean, competent person to occupy that position. Okay. That is one. I also agree with him that political weight, ability for you, because that is a consideration. What is your followership like in your place? It's not enough. Otherwise, the governor would have, if that is not a consideration, the governor would have just, okay, this man is from Itako West, this one is from Oredo, he stays in US, nobody knows him, but he has paper qualification, he's a professor, he has worked in big organizations, so I'm taking him. He would have done that, but he didn't do that. So it means that, and if you watch, one of the things they said should be presented is your result at the Poly Award units.
Okay.
Are you understanding? Yeah. So I think with this kind of, because we are monitoring the process, like I told you, the whole CVs of all the commissionership aspirants across the state, our Snoopy Rabbits have them. And we are interacting with some of these people to understand the criteria they are going to use. If we know those criteria, we put those metrics down, and on our own, we begin to envisage that, okay, if this governor is going to do what it says he will do, this person, I don't know him, but the CV speaks for him. His result speaks, his word result and unit result speaks for him. It's likely that the governor may take this one or he takes this one.
All right.
So we have those one and wait for the governor to bring out his list.
The list. Okay.
Now, I feel too that these 2 considerations, the qualification, the capacity to deliver effectively, to the people and the ability for you to also represent the governor politically in your place. These two considerations, I think, are going to... But issue of cronyism, you are my friend, you are hovering around me, it will not work with... It doesn't work with Obaseki.
Okay, fine. Now he said the CV and, of course, your performance. Now, in this regard, loyalty, which is cronyism going around the governor, and, of course, a performance at the pool, don't you think it supersedes the CV? We talk about academic pursuit, because I say that this is not about academic pursuit, it's about loyalty, and of course, you being able to deliver your ward, your units, even your local government.
Well, I want to say something that is very key here. No matter the level of CV you have acquired, whether you are a PhD holder, and you have no proper participation in governance to make me succeed, I have no business with you.
So you're saying CV is not important?
There's one, yes, because for instance now, the people who are working at the background of this studio,
Yeah.
some of them never go to Harvard University to know how to operate these cameras and the rest of it all. Some of them are just technicians that are here. And they are doing a fine job. We're talking about the ability to perform. And we're talking about how you can be able to address issues. There are some community leaders who are gone through the 4 walls of the universities, but they have nothing to offer. They are those that are grounded in the community are the ones managing affairs of the community to bring about peace and development in their various communities. And there, it also implies to politics. In the political platform, in political parties, those that are really giving credence, those that suffer, those that face the opposition, those that say, yes, whether you like it or not, we will never allow this man to sink. I think those people should be given number one, first priority. If you want to talk about CVs, CV is fine, because one, for instance, now if you want to have a job with me, except that is why even if you have CV, if you apply for a company, they will also say, well, by 5 years working experience. That is why it is injected in any...
But it's part of CV. Working experience is part of CV.
Working experience is part of CV. So those are the things that he considers. Because you cannot, somebody who has not sailed before, no matter how you acquire marine training, if you don't know the navigator of a ship, you will ground. You are going to ground, no matter how the ship is beautifully made. If you don't know how to navigate the sea practically, all your paperwork are in vain. That is why in advanced countries, technicians are more respected than those people that have white-collar jobs. White-collar jobs, because they know that these are the people that build industries, that are the ones that make things happen. So on my own, CV is important, but those that suffered for the party should be considered across all ethnic groups.
Across all ethnic groups, if you saw for the party.
Yes.
Are you not saying that CV is not that important?
No, because one thing about it, because people who have CVs, they will now say we are considered because you have CVs to do this, then you now give those people proper consideration. Whereas at the grassroots, those people who participated properly for the party, for the progress and for the outcome of a possible and better result from the party, you will now relegate them. You make them feel, as if they are not part of the government, and at least they have not done something that brought it to limelight. They will have misfeelings. Those are the same people that go back and say this government is bad. It's because of what they have done to them, closed door. It's not because of, say, the government is bad. The government can do fine, beautiful road and anything. But when they are not, the human people are not fully integrated in what they have suffered for. They see the government as a government that don't appreciate all their input. That is how it is.
All right. So now from what he said, do you think he's making a point that CV may be there, but it's not the end team?
Yes, he has a point, but if your consideration, because the immediate consideration is service delivery, it's not patronage. But I also agree with you that, for instance, Obaseki is coming with the kind of innovations and reforms. Do you understand? One of the key things Obaseki must be mindful of is to ensure that when he's leaving, the right person who is going to continue his program, takes his seat. Because whatever civil service reforms that he has done, if the next 2-3 administrations do not follow them through and institutionalize them, and the wrong person comes in, there will be problem. So I agree with him on that. So how do you get that done? Compensate those who have proven that they can win elections, who have come out for you. Because you know the danger of not compensating those who can win elections. You said the wrong signal. If I come out for you, Oshomole wanted to sink you. I brought out my life to say no. Not because of you, but because I see the programs you are carrying is for the benefit of the state. And I have the qualifications. And you dropped me for certain considerations that are primordial. You go and take somebody who did not perform well, who perhaps, I don't know why he did not perform. Do you know the signal you have sent? You have already created a criteria for appointment. The criteria for appointment is fail, don't support me. So if you fail and you don't support me, that is the qualification you have for me to put you in office. Now, let me quickly finish. So that is a signal the governor would not want to send, because he wants people that will work with him in 2024 to ensure that the person who is going to succeed him, the people will chest out their neck and say, look, we must ensure that this person succeeds the governor. So if you don't do that, you have serious problems.
Thank you so much. I know you have so much to say, but our time is up. This seems like it's all order for the governor, because so many 5-5 from 4-4 from other aspects. Calculate the number, how is it going to pick? It's like it's all order. But like what he rightly said, the process is already on, and he appealed to EDO citizens to please calm down. It will be done. Gentlemen, I appreciate a wonderful analysis. I know you have much to say, but come on, we have to go. We really have to go. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Both of you, top-notch analysis. Well, this will draw curtains in this edition of This Morning on ITV, Sunday's edition. Thank you so much for staying to this particular moment. Don't forget that the opinions of our guests is entirely theirs. It has nothing to do with ITV, but they worked according to the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Do it again next week Sunday, God willing. Bye for now.